Dear listener, hello. I'm at Radio Days Europe in Latvia, in Riga. It's a wonderful city, and I've got lots of great guests to talk to. First up, President of Stingray, Steve Jones.
What a beautiful city this is, isn't it?
Isn't it beautiful?
Loving it.
It's nowhere near as cold as I was told it was.
No, it's been beautiful, and the people are as warm, and it's a fantastic experience.
And you're from a colder climate anyway.
Toronto, yeah. This is just I love the vibe of the city and of Europe and of European radio as well. There's just an optimism here that sometimes in North America, I think we lose that a bit.
Yeah.
Get a little more cynical. But here in Europe, there's a lot of positivity, even in challenging times.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Speaking of challenging times, Kyle and Jackie O involving that suck.
When I first heard that audio, I thought that was a stunt. Yeah. I thought it's right on brand for them to do a stunt like that. But apparently it's not. It's not a sound. And on one hand, what a terrible thing for radio to lose such a big, high profile show. On the other hand, everybody around the world talking about radio is refreshing. It reminds us that we have big personalities, we have big stations, and we have the ability to generate interest in what we do. Hopefully, it can be turned into a positive. About what a challenge now to figure out what to do next. It feels like the days of Howard Stern. Yeah, when Howard left terrestrial radio and stations outright had to change format.
Yeah,
because he was so connected to their brand. Yeah, so it'll be an interesting watch to see what happens next.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so let's talk about your job. You're now
president of Stingray Radio. Stingray Radio is a division of Stingray Group, which is a global company bringing music in all kinds of forms to listeners in, I think, 160-ish countries. So there's a few countries we haven't, permeated yet, but between fast channels on TV, music in store, audio, we do, music over IP, karaoke at cars. We just acquired TuneIn, and we have 100 radio stations in Canada. So we have a global network. I look after the Canadian radio portion of that network.
Okay. Well, it's good to see a radio guy in the top job.
Thank you.
Because often now, for better or for worse, it's the financial people in charge.
Yeah, I'm very proud that Stingray had the confidence to put a product person in the president role. I think we're able to do that because we have a great CFO. We have a great team in Montreal as our corporate team. I have a great sales leadership team around me. So there's a lot of checks and balances. It's not like the programming guy got the job and all of a sudden we're spending all the money on fresh T-shirts and spag for everybody. We have a really good cohesive team. We recognize the need to keep that financial discipline that an accountant would bring to this job. Yeah. We recognize the need to bring sales innovation the way a sales leader would approach this job. But I think having a product person in this role also gives more gravitas to the need to protect the product and grow the business by not just satisfying shareholders and clients, but also listeners and culturally our own team, because none of this happens if those people who come to work each day don't fervently believe in what they do.
Yeah.
And I think the best person to give them that is probably someone who's on the product side, because that cultural vibe is what we've been all about from day one.
Yeah. And I've only worked very briefly with you, but I know that you bring more business smarts to a programming role as well as a product role. You're thinking big picture, not only in terms of what will drive an audience, obviously, but I remember even just a comment from you probably going on, I don't know, nearly 10 years ago now, about how it's really important to make sure that everyone's on board. And it doesn't surprise me that, you've kind of got that role, because I see you as a bit of a ringleader in that company. For good reasons, I should say.
I think that comes from being a program director.
Yeah.
When you have 6 or 7 on-air talents working on a radio station, you have a promotions team, a sales team, you never achieve success unless everyone believes in the mission.
Yeah.
And aligning people around a common goal has been kind of what you do as a program director your whole career. So Moving from that, then I moved into corporate programming, VP of programming. Same thing. You have a network of radio stations down nationally. It's just the same thing, getting everyone aligned on what you're doing. And now that I'm in this role, I'm excited about what it offers in terms of the ability to do that within our own company. People who only knew of me as the programming guy in different departments, I hope I can bring that same thing to them.
Yeah.
And beyond that, in our industry, which is a whole sort of new area for me, realizing that there's not a lot of people in this kind of role, and this isn't the credit to me. This is just a sort of a fact. People in this role tend to be reserved with their opinions. They tend to be non-controversial. They don't speak out, and I've sort of done that my whole career. I can't get to this position and then shut up.
Yeah.
So having the stage to say some important things about our industry, both in Canada and around the world, is really kind of cool. And I'm enjoying that a lot.
And it's privilege, right? Like,
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, and you do have to be careful with what you say because people suddenly pay attention to what you say. But the chance to say it,
Yeah.
and the chance to make a meaningful difference is really cool.
Now, I'm going to ask you a question that I don't think you've ever been asked before. Are you an ABBA fan?
Am I an ABBA fan? Yeah, I'm a fan. People call it a guilty pleasure.
Yeah.
And I think that's wrong. One should never be guilty for something great joy. You enjoy.
Yeah.
I love hooks. I love music that just gets in your ear and stays there. So yeah, I remember being a kid and hearing ABBA on my parents' 8-tracks in the car. And to this day, it's addictive. It's pop music at its very best.
Yeah, it is good. It stands the test of time. And the reason I bring it up is not because I've gone through your record collection, but because you wrote a really interesting piece about ABBA and you talked about how nothing happened by accident. Can you unpack that a bit for me?
Yeah, I've been writing on LinkedIn a series called Lead Like a Rock Star. And it's a prelude to a book I'm working on. I hope to have out in 2027. About leadership through the lens of music icons. So what does leadership feel like when you're Bruce Springsteen on stage in front of 80,000 people? What does leadership look like when you're Taylor Swift and you're creating the biggest concert tour in human history? And what does leadership look like if you're ABBA and you've carefully crafted this incredible image that has lasted over 50 years? And it is interesting when you look at how people think that great companies, great leaders, great cultures sort of just happen by accident. And they don't. They happen through very carefully thought out, strategic, crafted initiatives. And ABBA is a great example of that. From the very beginning, they took great pains to produce every song perfectly. The layered, lush production. The lyrics that were both earworms and emotionally investing. And then the look, the sort of safe glam rock look that they brought to the stage, the way they performed, the way they interacted, their logo, everything about them was carefully crafted. And I don't know if we knew it at the time outside of the music being obviously very, very poppy and very addictive. But in the years since, one of the things I admire most about ABBA in the protection of their carefully crafted image is that they never reunited.
Right. So you think that was a powerful thing for them?
Very powerful. Yeah. I mean, all the millions of dollars they could have made.
Yeah.
Millions upon millions to do a reunion tour. And they never took the offer. And Bjorn at one point said in an interview that it's because the image of ABBA is youthful exuberance and innocence. And to have a group of 4 65 or 75-year-olds doing that
In the jumpsuit.
right, you would lose the image. So the substitute is the ABBA voyage experience in London in the holograms.
And they're all over that too, aren't they?
They're detail perspective. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. They were all over how their music was licensed and used in the Mamma Mia movies and everywhere you've heard an ABBA song. To this day, that take great pains to protect that image.
Yeah.
And from a leadership point of view, nothing happens by accident. You need to take great pains. And I don't think that leadership is a falsely crafted performance. It's a performance of your own authenticity.
Oh, that's good.
But it is a performance.
Yeah.
And it is not a performance done through grand gestures. Leaders think that, oh, I'll do a big town hall. Steve Jobs was great at doing those. Leadership with a crafted performance is how you carry yourself in the hallway. It's thanking the person who's a junior intern for the work they did. It's appreciating the efforts of the team in a genuine way and not just, reverting into that sort of isolated corner office mentality. So, yeah, I think that ABBA has a tremendous amount they can teach readers about understanding how to craft and protect an image. Yeah. And one that is genuine to you and true to you.
Yeah, I love that. I love that performance of all the authenticity lines.
Yeah, I'm working on a chapter in the book about Freddie Mercury.
Oh, wow.
Because to me, Freddie Mercury is another icon of performing an image. Yeah. Off stage, he was notoriously shy and reserved. But on stage, he was flamboyant.
Yeah.
And those were both elements of his authentic personality. He was proudly and flamboyantly gay at a time when that was not socially acceptable. He was also reserved and shy and didn't believe he had to tell the world he was gay or tell the world his political opinions. He kept those to himself. He didn't write about them in music. He was him. And he knew that when he stepped on stage, he had to perform the flamboyant elements of his personality. And when he stepped off stage, he had to hold those elements back. And that's part of understanding leadership. It isn't your full personality on full blast at all times. That would be just exhausting.
Yeah.
And it's an understanding of what element of your true personality needs to shine in order to lead this group of people to success right now.
Yeah, that's great. Well, I'm looking forward to the book, so 2027.
Yeah.
I'm also looking forward to the merch that might be attached to the book, because I feel like you will need to have something, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Like a tour t-shirt, you're going to book tour and a concert day?
Yeah. Maybe one of those 80s sort of baseball style concert shirts with 3/4 sleeves so they're white.
I don't have to wear a wig though, do I?
No,
because I've got them. Well, I can if you want.
All right.
In the meantime, your newsletter.
Yeah. It's on LinkedIn, Lead Like a Rockstar. And it's attached to my profile.
Awesome. Steve Jones from Stingray, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you very much.
Good to see you, bud.
Great to see you. Thank you.
Steve is a great guy. He's a product guy, but he's a brilliant business brain. And if you want to check out his newsletter on LinkedIn, please do. It really is good. All right, so some more news from Radio Days Europe. I'm going to have the top 10 promotions in the world. There's a presentation that happens here every year by a wonderful guy from Ireland called Niall. He's going to come on the pod tomorrow, actually, and he's going to talk to you about the top 10 promotions, so you can basically hear what they are without having to be here in Latvia and hear the session. Also, I'm going to try and have a chat to a couple other people in the radio industry that you may not have heard of, but I think got some really good perspectives. Again, what I'm really trying to do is help you, wherever you are listening to this, understand that a lot of radio's challenges and a lot of radio's opportunities are global ones. And they're happening in places, markets, countries, formats that you might not be aware of. And hopefully the quarter hour can be a place where we can talk about this stuff, obviously with a positive and optimistic lens, because that's just, kind of who I am, but also make it useful, make it practical and things that you can do and take back to your markets and implement. Speaking of which, the presentation I'm doing here is called Have I Got Your Attention? And it's all about ways to get attention through earned media. Now, in my consulting work, I do a lot of this stuff where I sit down with shows and brands and content directors and sales teams talking about ways to get attention on that brand. And earned media, I think, is one of those great opportunities that we have as a medium. We used to get a lot of it back in the good old days, a lot of earned media attention, which basically means coverage on the TV news or on local websites or on social channels, something we've earned based on the content that we haven't paid for, and that someone's gone, you know what, that's actually really good, and they're going to give it some attention on our behalf. So I'm going to give you a little snapshot of that presentation as one of the episodes this week as well. It's going to cover everything from Timothy Chalamet to IKEA monkeys. There's lots in there. What a range, hey? But for now, dear listener, thank you. More episodes coming this week from Radio Days in Europe in Riga, Latvia. That's been the quarter hour. Bye.